often seen as the red-haired stepson of the series, Borderlands. The pre-sequel isn't mentioned that often when talking about the franchise. However, this game paved the way for many mechanics in the last version of the series in many ways. Lack of gravity caused jumps and lack of oxygen led to the use of new equipment. The lack of terrain and gravity also contributed to the creation of new vehicles. Moving away from exponential damage scaling made gear aging a much less obvious issue in pre-sequel than in Borderlands 2. A shocking amount on their first try. Sci-fi or fantasy are common settings for most looter shooters, as it allows developers to freak out with item ideas. Chapter 2 takes a different, more modern approach. Unlike other loot shooters on the market, The Division 2 uses weapons from a post-apocalyptic world. However, it does not detract from the creativity of the items. Specialized abilities allow players to use extremely powerful weapons alongside the default skills of their choice. Items come with unique stats, and even the game includes PvP. Risk of Rain 2 may sound like a rogue, but it also shares many similarities with marauding shooters. Players spend on finding items to make their characters stronger, before they inevitably die in the chaotic battle scenarios that emerge in later stages. Death is not a terrible consequence of failure in Risk of Rain 2. A chance to try a new strategy, use a new character, or complete a challenge. Each run feels different, thanks to the game's excellent elements and plenty of items. The build variety is high, the battle gets hectic, and the runs never stop being fun. If you want a little experience with what loot shooters usually offer, Risk of Rain 2 should be on your radar. A looter shooter list wouldn't be complete without mentioning the latest Borderlands title. This franchise is probably responsible for the rise of the loot shooter genre, and then games like Destiny or The Division. Borderlands 3 continues the strange story in Borderlands 2 with many recurring and new characters. The loot in this game is as crazy as ever. Old manufacturers are making a comeback alongside new item boosts called Anointment. The story in this episode isn't as good as in Borderlands 2, but Gearbox has done an excellent job of modernizing the Borderlands game loop with faster action, powerful weapons, and some of the most satisfying loot you'll find in this genre. It's not as rich as its brother, but excellent gunfire and items make up for it. Also, if Borderlands 2 were any indication, Gearbox sticks to Borderlands 3 in the long run. Payday 2 has seen updates and DLC since its launch in 2013. Of all the games on this list, Payday 2 easily has the highest number of post-launch support. This game tasks players to earn money by completing contracts. This can range from kidnapping people to robbing high-security banks. This cash can then be spent on new weapons, attachments, equipment, and the experience from each mission gives new skills to perform each new heist. If you want looter shooters to advance faster, look no further than Shadow Warrior 2. This game combines addictive loot drops with instinctive gameplay that only Doom can match. You play as Lo Wang, a warrior doomed to kill demons with a huge arsenal of weapons, magic, and melee weapons. Items can come with a variety of statistics to make each one unique from the end. There is deep customization to allow builds to suit your playstyle, and the game even supports 4-player cooperative. If you want a fast-paced loot shooter, you can't go wrong with Shadow Warrior 2. Outriders is the only loot shooter game that has managed to capture the frantic, skill-centered gameplay of dungeon crawlers and combine it with the looter shooter genre. Borderlands is typically referred to as the armed Diablo, but this franchise focuses first on guns and secondly on capabilities, not Outriders. As a trickster, you can turn enemies into molecular dust with time-bending blades, or light up entire rooms with a fireburner. Loot flies from enemies and drops capsules, as if weapons were obsolete. And thanks to Outriders' excellent hardware modding system, players can feel destruction incarnate in all of their games. Not many looters take as much loot and abilities as Outriders. This once obscure free shooter has become one of the biggest games on PC and consoles. Warframe is a game about killing genetically enhanced soldiers and aliens as space ninjas. Unlike most ninjas, Warframes you control have special powers that can change the course of the battle. Using Limbo, you can freeze time itself, or as Chroma you can decide to absorb all of the enemy's damage to deal bonus damage. Both weapons and Warframes can be customized with enemies dropped mods, providing a large number of possible structures for equipment. It has an interesting story, even if it is a little short. Best of all, it's free if you sometimes don't mind a bit of crushing fun. Bungie's successor to Halo, was greeted with a mixed reception when it was released, but after years of updates and expansions, Destiny 2 is one of the best looter shooters you can try today. Like most loot shooters, you start the game by choosing one of 3 different classes to determine our class-specific powers. The game has multiple campaigns, lots of free content to be done in competitive multiplayer, solo or co-op, and even a variety of endgame raids to choose from. No matter what you love about looter shooters, Destiny 2 has something for everyone. Borderlands has appeared on this list not once, but 3 times. We know it can be extreme, but Borderlands 2 really deserves the crown as the best looter shooter on the market. After years of DLC and post-launch support, Gearbox has produced a looter shooter with hundreds of hours of content and almost endless replayability. Players can choose from 6 classes, each with a unique active skill and 3 different skill trees. What is unique about Borderlands 2 is the leveling experience itself. Don't rush to reach the level cap to complete raids or endgame content. The whole game has a perfect pace that doesn't make you rush towards the final goal. Every hour spent on Pandora is spent blowing up bandits and corporate robots for crazy loot. And Borderlands 2 is doing the loot game right. The wide variety of weapon combinations and tons of legendary weapons give you a reason to collect bosses and side content. Gunfire isn't as solid as Destiny or Borderlands 3, but the scope of content presented here is staggering. There aren't any looter shooters on the market that provide this much content and replayability without relying on seasonal content streams. Borderlands 2 has set the bar for this genre and has yet to be exceeded. Thank you for watching the video. If you liked the video, don't forget to click the like button and subscribe to the page.